I'm going to skip the introductions, but please subscribe if you haven't. My videos are not normally rants, but today it's a rant. So let's get into it. I am going to share with you why I think the Nintendo Switch Lite Diet Pepsi Cola is the dumbest idea Nintendo has thought of as of late. It's like right next to Nintendo Online. That's how dumb we're gonna get. So that's where we are. I don't know if you guys know, but my last mini kind of leak thingy rant, I said I did not like the whole concept of a Nintendo Mini right now. And now they announced the Nintendo Lite, and I'm just like, wow. It's way better than I expected, don't get me wrong, but it's still bad. So let me just get into why the reasons that it is bad, or kind of the arguments that come up when people, try to say how it's a good idea, which if it's a good idea for you, more power to you. You could buy it. I don't mind. I don't really care. At the end of the day, Nintendo's getting money and I'm not. So I don't really mind, but there are still some points worth arguing. Okay, the number one reason, and a big reason, and that is the Nintendo Switch Lite cannot be docked. Yes, you heard me. The Switch cannot switch, and that's not a Switch. It looks more like a Vita than anything. So my problem is, why didn't they just add the function to dock and just not add the dock? So the dock itself is not very complicated. It's actually just an HDMI port to your TV. And it's like the simplest thing they could have done. Out of anything they could have taken out, anything they could have put in, that one was the simplest thing. And yet, they didn't do it. That's like a key feature of the Switch. You play it on your TV, you can play it in handheld, but now it's just on handheld. And that kind of goes against the whole Switch thing, because the Switch was marketed to be a console where you could customize the way you play. You could, undock it and take it with you. The Switch is portable, people. Or you could leave it in the dock and play it on your TV. Or you could just, put it on tabletop. The concept of the Switch. The concept of the Switch is playing how you want, and now you can only play it handheld. Can't take out no Joy-Cons. Can't do anything like that. It just defeats the whole purpose of the Switch, which was already aimed to be a casual lifestyle console. And that's the next point. The Switch is portable. Yeah, it's a shocker, I know, but you could take it out of the dock, put it in a case, put it in your bag, and take it with you. And I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I have to take the dock, I have to take all this and all that. No, you don't. You just need to take the Switch and take its charger, and you should be fine. That's pretty much what you're going to take with the Switch Mini. But the point is that the Switch is already portable, people. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's a replacement for the 3DS. At least with the 3DS, it had its own identity. It had its own library of games, dual screens. I don't understand the logic with it. I really don't. Especially my next point, which is the whole good for children kind of thing. So the Switch Lite is priced at $199, $200 here in the US, and that's a cool price. I feel it. But people are always saying like, oh, that's good for kids and stuff. You do know that the Switch Mini or Switch Lite could still be scratched. The buttons still could be mashed. So at least with the Switch, you had kind of the option just to buy new Joy-Cons. If the kid messes up the Switch Mini, it's gone. You're gonna have to buy a new console. That's like the whole gist of it. People are like, oh my god, it's for kids. Like, OMG. If they break it, you're gonna have to buy a new one. At least with the Switch, if they break the Joy-Cons, you could just replace them. And yeah, I know Joy-Cons aren't cheap, but so isn't buying a whole new console again either. And the next thing is, okay, that child cannot play with his friends. They can't play on one single thing. Does nobody think about that? If they want to play with their friends or siblings, they can't put it on TV and then, have the Joy-Cons passed up or the controllers. No, it's just there. Now, a lot of people say, I don't have kids, I don't know, which is true, I don't have kids, but I would know because my cousin's 6 and he has a Switch. It's perfectly fine. It has a little case around it. And wouldn't you want the thing to be docked anyways? At least when they dock it, it's somewhere right there it's not just flying in their hands all over the place. So the dock would be more beneficial at the end because it's somewhere where the console could be safe. You could play it on TV, you could play with your friends, you could play with your siblings, you could play with your cousin. And another point I want to get is people are saying, oh, it's more easier for portable mode. Do y'all not know how easy the Switch is? Again, just take the Switch and its Switch charger. I remember when I had to pack up my GameCube, my controllers, all 4 of them, the games that came with it, all the cables in one bag. Now people are like, going crazy over a Switch, which is honestly not even big. It's a portable console. If you haven't experienced traveling and taking a console with you, you would know that the Switch is like a freaking vacation to pack. I don't get the whole reasoning about, oh, it's more portable than the Switch. No, they're just equally portable. One's bigger, one's smaller. You still need the games, you still need the chargers for the Lite, and the same goes for the Switch. You're practically packing the same stuff. And another thing I wanted to address was the Joy-Cons. That the main reason why the Switch is so expensive is the Joy-Con. That could have easily been averted if they just made a dumbed down version of the Joy-Cons. Hear me out, people. If they made a basic Joy-Con that doesn't have all the HD rumble stuff, but then still had the standard Joy-Cons that had all that stuff, but now everybody could enjoy it. Everybody could buy cheaper Joy-Cons. So I don't get the whole thing of the Joy-Con being this big deal where they had to attach it. That's the dumbest idea, Nintendo. All you could have done was dumb down the Joy-Cons and sold them as 2 different versions of the Joy-Cons. You didn't have to make a whole console for that. Honestly, I would save the money so you could get a Switch to experience the whole, concept of the Switch, where you could get up, take off your Switch, play it handheld. Oh, a friend came over? You want to play Mario Kart? Okay. Put the Switch in the dock. Boom, it's on the TV. Wow, cool. The Switch was supposed to be this thing where it had that sweet spot of being a portable console. The Switch Lite kind of throws that under a truck, backs it up, pulls over, does a U-turn and a 3-point turn at the same time, and crushes it, because the whole point of the Switch concept was to have a more customized way of play. Having a Switch Mini is just a PlayStation Vita, and we all know how the Vita ended. Not saying Nintendo's gonna do the same, but that does beg another question about the games. That makes the whole thing of developing games for a Switch more annoying. So, okay, not only do devs have to keep in mind the cartridge, they have to keep in mind handheld mode, they have to keep in mind TV mode, they have to keep in mind only handheld mode. Like, this is why we have $60 ports of old games. This thing is sharing the same library as the regular Switch. So this is why I think the Nintendo Switch Lite is the dumbest thing Nintendo has done, right next to the online, because it doesn't innovate, it regresses. I mean, at least with the 3DS and 2DS, you could kind of justify having both because they have different library of games and they provide a different experience. But the Switch Mini is just something that I just don't understand. But that's just my 2 cents.